Sustainable seafood is incredibly important.
I think the importance starts with the relationships that we build with the fishermen that then allow me to get the best fish possible coming from the best place possible to then sell that to the consumer and educate them about where their fish is coming from and give them the best possible product.
In this modern world, there are many ways to catch fish, some very fast, some unsustainable, and some very sustainable. The sort of fish I do is pretty simple. It's literally just line fishing. So I go fishing by myself. I have a small boat, a 6-metre runabout boat, which I trail. I launch that each day. I go out off Cronulla, south of Sydney, and I target fish particularly like flathead, snapper, kingfish. I use a hook and a line. I don't use any trawling methods. I don't use any netting methods. It's purely all hand-selected line fishing. I choose my method because I believe it's sustainable. I'm not using a method that targets everything in front of a big trawl net. So when I take my fish, I know that I've taken the fish that I want, and I'm very conscious about environmentalism because I want to make sure the way I catch fish is sustainable, and that method can continue to supply fresh fish to local restaurants pretty well forever. Most days when I'm fishing, it's early in the morning. So when I catch my fish, I'm using a rod and line, and I target each fish singly. So I might have 3 rods out. I'll catch a fish on a rod and line, I bring that fish in, I unhook it, I icky spike it, which is a spike straight to the brain so the fish is killed instantly. I then put that fish whole into a saltwater ice slurry, which preserves it and actually prepares that fish the best quality for the restaurant. Later that afternoon, when I finish fishing, I get all my fish together, they're in an esky, and then I deliver them myself to either a supplier or to the restaurants directly. I want to make sure that I catch fish in a method that allows fish to breed and that there is enough fish for the future. So using a line and a hook is very sustainable. We only take 1 fish at a time. We don't take everything in the path of a giant net. We don't destroy the environment and we don't destroy the ecosystem that other species live in.
I predominantly dive sea urchin on scuba. I use large nets or hoops that I harvest the sea urchin with, and then a hook which I use to pick up the sea urchins. I usually dive and find an area where there's nice ledges and nice feed for them, and I'll slowly work through the areas, selecting the sea urchin and harvesting, and then I'll fill several bags before returning to the boat. Yeah, so sea urchin harvest it's all done by hand, 1 diver in the water, selecting just the sea urchins that you're going to take. So there's 0 bycatch, 0 disturbance of any other marine life. The way we harvest is by going through an area, we take a portion of the population, usually the largest urchins. We'll take about 1/3 and we'll leave the rest to grow and spawn for that year. Part of the urchin that's eaten is the inside, the roe. They've got each urchin has 5 tongues, which are a bright yellow or orange roe. Traditionally, it's eaten fresh, straight out of the shell is the typical way it's eaten, but it's also made into a lot of dishes, Japanese style, sashimi and nigiri. A lot of European countries, the traditional way of eating urchin there is in pastas and in sauces.
Here at Fish Butchery, Josh has come up with some pretty unique ways at using parts of the fish that don't usually get used and get chucked in the bin. We try and use as much of the fish as possible, and that includes all the offal. So when the fish comes in, we'll be taking that offal out, using the skin, using the head, bones to make pasta, turning the livers into pate. We braise the stomachs and use them, incorporate them into our sauces. We're making charcuterie products like salami and bacon. There's a whole range of things that we do here to maximise what we can get out of a fish. We can use up to 95% of the fish, which is pretty remarkable, I think. Where generally it's around 45% that gets used if you're just taking the fillets off the fish. Fish Butchery's ethos with sustainability and sustainable fishing really starts with the fishermen and who we're getting that fish from, and having confidence that they're doing the right thing, and they have confidence in us that we're doing the right thing with their fish that they care so much about. And I think that that's really the most important thing, because then we can share that product with the public and further educate everyone on the importance of conservation and sustainability in the seafood industry.
Every day we try and celebrate the really best of Australian ingredients, and in order to do that, it's really important that the quality is the really best of what we get. It's so important to establish and have connection. The reason I cook with fire is to connect to the ingredient. And that in turn, I really want to get the best out of it, means that I then connect to the grower, the producer, the fisherman, and trying to not only source the best, but also understand what goes into bringing those ingredients to the restaurant. These are the guys we really rely on, because at the end of the day, we're kind of like not really doing a lot to ingredients. We're sort of getting the best, trying to grill it within a point of precision and serve it immediately. So it's really important the ingredients are allowed to speak for themselves. And so working within that framework, it's sort of the relationships over the years have been fostered to sort of look at, using regenerative farming, sustainable seafood, so that, there's a future in this.
Obviously, enjoy going fishing overseas.
Without sustainable food source, we couldn't have this restaurant. It would have no future. And that, for me, I'm hospitality for a brew. I want this thing to continue. I want to there be a future. I want to be able to pass something on, so that future generations, there's going to be, we're very responsible when it comes to what we serve in the restaurant, and we have choices to make as chefs. Not only ingredients that I want to work with, but ones I feel are appropriate to be celebrating, showcasing, no matter what it is, whether it be, a blue mackerel or a coral trout, that they are being well handled, treated with exactly the same love and care and respect, and so that we're then educating and showcasing that to the broader audience, to the public at large, and they are then equipped with the knowledge of what we're doing. We believe in what we're doing, we're very passionate about what we do, and it's really important to maintain those connections, because that's what gets you through the years. That's what makes everything that we do have meaning. Some blue spot flathead, just down from the Shire from Keeleigh. Incredible to sort of see this fish in such condition, because a lot of the time, the fish has been several days, it might have gone to the market floor, been thrown around badly. This is a flathead, which, most people know flathead, but I don't think people have seen it when it's been handled with such care and respect, that it's been caught, line caught, it's been brain spiked, so sudden death, and it completely changes the quality of the fish. You can see it in the eyes, you can see it in the flesh of the fish, how white the fish is, it's been bled. Such a beautiful fish that we try and do as little as possible. So just, gently scrape the scales off. We've gutted the fish. We kept some of the liver of the fish because it was so fresh, and just grilled it over a live fire here behind me, to allow the relationship of the ingredient and the fire to marry together, and to really allow the ingredient to speak for itself, making a sauce from the resting juice of the fish, a really good Australian olive oil, a little bit of fried garlic, some beautiful spring vegetables, some charred cod, some broad beans, some watermelon radishes, and then a little bit of that liver just warmed over the fire just to finish. Is, for me, it's the kind of food that I want to be cooking and eating, and it's the kind of food and sustainable seafood I'm really proud to serve.
Sustainable seafood is incredibly important to us, because without seafood, we can't operate as a restaurant. We try to make sustainable choices in every aspect of the business. I love sea urchin. Selfishly, maybe. I enjoy eating it. Sometimes I love to put things on the menu that I really enjoy and just see how other people take it. It's definitely a polarizing product, but I love to put it out there and see what people's reaction is to it. And I think a lot of the time you find that people enjoy it a lot more than they would think they will. We always try to take Australian produce first, and even local to the Shire as well. So developing relationships with local suppliers and fishermen, and to have something that is straight from the water in Cronulla. It's harvested in the morning and it's on the menu in the evening. So as I mentioned, I'd like to try and make sea urchin as approachable as possible. So after opening them up and taking the gonads out, I've blended it into a butter, which helps sort of bring out that sea urchin flavour and get it right through the dish without being too intense. Paired with a couple of the zucchini flowers, which are beautiful and fresh at the moment. and then a bit more of the sea urchin there on top to really drive that flavour home. I think it's a pretty simple application, but one that people will love.
There are many fisheries out there which are sustainable, and the public can do their part by requesting their local restaurant or fishmonger to source fish from sustainable fisheries.
Seafood is a finite resource to some extent, and if we overfish or if we don't use sustainable choices, then we'll run out of options and we can't continue to do what we love to do.